Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We are so excited to share your hearts tonight. My name is Michaela Petersen, and we are going to explain to you our roads to taking healthy back. And it pretty much all started with one simple change. So we are super simple. Doesn't everyone like simple? I like simple. So with Juice Plus, we have 4 products. We have the Juice Plus, we have the Complete Powder, we have bars, like protein bars, and then we have the Tower Garden. So throughout this call, you're going to hear a little bit about the product, a lot about the stories, and then at the end, we're going to give you a little glimpse of the company behind the amazing products. So I am so excited to be partnered with these amazing women that you're going to hear speak. And first is Miss Michele Pitto, who I always tease that she has probably forgotten more about Juice Plus than I will ever know. Just an amazing source of wisdom in all aspects of life, but especially Juice Plus. So will you share your story with us, please, Michele?
Hey guys. Okay, well, thanks, Michaela. And my background actually is corporate America, real estate finance for over 20 years. And, I loved what I did, but it was extremely stressful and it didn't allow me much time, let alone quality time with my young boys. And it was just really, really important to me to be present in their lives, right? They were 6 and 7 at the time that I heard about Juice Plus. And it really made sense to me because honestly, right before I had my kids, I had a girlfriend that lost her 3-year-old to cancer. And that, hit me in the way that it hits most of us, especially when you have kids, because as a parent, it's like your sole purpose is to protect them and nurture them, right? And so for me, Juice Plus kind of hit me because even though we really didn't have any serious health problems, we were in really pretty good shape. For me, I saw this Juice Plus because I knew fruits and vegetables were the number one thing you could do to prevent any disease, let alone cancer. So I looked at it just like when my rambunctious boys like to be on skateboards or on their bike. If I could just keep a helmet on them at all times throughout life, I would have. And I looked at that helmet as not something that would guarantee their safety, but it would minimize risk. And I saw Juice Plus really the same way. So for me, it was a heart decision to take Juice Plus. And, remember I said that we really didn't have any health issues, but what I found was my kids actually started eating even more fruits and veg. My allergies that I had seasonal allergies that a couple times a year, I would have to be for a couple of weeks. And I didn't like the way they made me feel. And what happened is sometime within the first year, I noticed that my allergies, even when I was around cats, my eyes would puff up, all gone. And honest, you guys, over 10 years ago now, I've taken no prescription or over-the-counter meds. And I'm older, right? So my immune system technically should be worse. My kids they weren't on any antibiotics and all that time. They didn't have to miss school, which was awesome. My mom and my husband were sick all the time before Juice Plus, though, and that we did notice a huge change, which for me was fabulous. Well, I'm sure for them too, but I loved the fact that they were healthy. And I've got to say, all through that time of my kids' adolescence, they really never had bad breakouts or anything. They did really well through that whole period. So for me, I'm just so excited about what Juice Plus has done for our family, how much sense it made. And so just as most moms and women do, it was natural for me to just start sharing it. I'd hear friends say, oh my gosh, if my kid gets another cold, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'd just be like, how could I know about this and what it's done for us and not share it? And that's how my business actually started. I had no intention of it ever becoming a business, but I'm so grateful that it did because we've helped so many people along the way and it allowed me to stay home with my kids. So it's been really a fun journey for me.
That's so awesome. I never get sick of hearing your story. It's amazing.
And I just was going to touch on too, because I think you wanted me to elaborate a little bit more on what Juice Plus was. I told you it's just fruits and veg, right? It's simple. And like Michaela said, in capsule or gummy. In fact, okay, guys, this is where I'm going to see if I can share my screen here and see if, because I wanted to show you, I think we're all kind of visual. I don't have it on the prevention, the big mode, but you can see at least the picture of the fruits, vegetables, and berries. And I love this because Juice Plus is just real food, nutrition facts label. And I was very skeptical at first because that's just kind of my nature. And I had never heard of it before. So I thought, if it was so great, how come I never heard of it? And I think, plenty of people think like I did and still like I do. But when you look at this every single day, my family is getting this in their bodies, my kids, before they're going off to school. All of us, apples, acerola cherries, beets, cranberries, dates, oranges, papayas, peaches, pineapples, prunes, beets. Are there a few things in here that you guys may not eat regularly? Maybe you can't stand beets, perhaps. Broccoli, brown rice bran, cabbage, carrots, garlic, kale, oat bran, parsley, spinach, tomatoes. And keep in mind, even, whole grains are super good for us, but we hear about gluten and all these things being not so good for us. Juice Plus is so smart that, it came around about over 23 years ago. And at that time, it was still non-GMO and gluten-free, and still is to this day. And yet we've just really learned about a lot of those things more recently, right? And then the vineyard blend, artichokes, bilberries, blackberries, blackcurrant, blueberries, cocoa, or some people call it cacao, right? I don't know. Concord grape, cranberry, elderberry, that's the Elton John song, and pomegranates and raspberries. And incredibly, it just takes the Juice Plus and puts it on steroids. It's just so incredible for inflammation, the immune function. The research is sound, and I'm crazy about the research, but I won't put you all to sleep, me talking about all the research. But anyway, and it comes in capsules like you saw in the picture. And if you guys, it also comes in these yummy gummies. And I have kids of all ages, into their 80s even, that take gummies because they'd rather chew and enjoy the gummies than the capsules. It really doesn't matter. The nutrition's the same. And so we call it kind of womb to tomb. So
great. I love that, womb to tomb. Who doesn't need nutritional armor all the way across the board, right? Kind of a no-brainer. So our next speaker is near and dear to my heart. I had always heard that you need a buddy in life, but she literally has been my buddy since first grade when we first met. And so, Karisa Halpine, will you share your experience with us? Oh, we can't hear you. Hold on.
Sorry, I was muted. Okay. All right, guys. My name's Karisa Halpine, like Michaela said, and I'm in Grand Island, Nebraska, and I'm a fitness instructor. And I'm married to my husband, Stan, and we have 3 boys, Brock, who's 8, Bowden, who's 5.5, and Baylor, who's 14 weeks. And Michaela was so kind to introduce Juice Plus to me and my boys a little over 2 years ago, and we'll be forever grateful. Michaela, when she introduced it to me, I was at a more fragile point in my life as a single mom. And little did I know, when she reached out to me, that this was going to be what was, going to be the it thing for me today. But she knew my circumstances. She knew that my utmost main priority was to be the best mom that I could be for my boys. She knew my boys were sick all the time. I was, it's a struggle as a parent we're constantly doing whatever we can for our kids to make them healthy and to feel good. Like Michele said, protect them. And when they're not healthy, it's frustrating. And we were in the doctor's office literally every other month at minimum. And so when Michaela told me about Juice Plus, sounded a little bit too good to be true, honestly. 30 different fruits, vegetables, and berries in a teeny tiny capsule. She did tell me that there is the Children's Health Study where kiddos can eat for free between the ages of 4 and 18 and full-time college age, and when sponsored by an adult up to 4 years. And that really made a lot of sense to me. I thought, you know what, I'm never going to know unless I try. I was willing to do anything. So I said yes. And however, I was excited to start Juice Plus, but I wasn't excited or didn't want anything to do with sharing it with anybody. Honestly, it sounds really selfish looking back, but I just wanted the best nutrition at the end of the day for my boys and myself. So we got started on Juice Plus, and 2 weeks into it, I was feeling crazy amounts of energy. And as a fitness instructor and a mom that was crazy, I needed everything that I could get. And I, you know, gosh, I mean, 3 and 4 months were rolling by and my boys were not getting their, like common colds and coughs and sore throats and that sort of thing. And fast forward, you know, over the 2-year time span with my boys' health, it is completely transformed. I mean, as far as, you know, doctor's office every other month to 2 doctor's visits in that whole entire, you know, little over 2-year time frame. So that's huge. To me, that was the best insurance policy a mom can give her kids. My husband too, Stan, since December, he has, married since December, but for 20 years, he had been battling like high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and is finally down within normal numbers, which has been awesome for him after that, you know, long a period of time. So, and he was able to run, you know, being asthmatic and have allergies. At age 47, he was able to run his first half marathon and hasn't been healthier, you know, ever until Juice Plus. As for myself, I am an avid runner and was training at that time for half marathons and was averaging about an 8:30 minute per mile. And by incorporating the Juice Plus, which is the micronutrition for our body, and the Complete, which is the macronutrition, I've been able to shave off a minute off my splits per mile for that half marathon distance. So from 8:30 to 7:30, which has just been fun, period. So I'm just grateful for that. And the Complete, I just wanted to touch on really quick, you guys. We like to think as of the Juice Plus capsules and soft chews as the oil that we put in the car per se, and the Complete being the gas. So, you know, if you fuel your car properly, it's going to run efficiently, and that's the same as our bodies. And that has been, I mean, the Complete is 26 additional superfoods. You know, it has awesome things in it like pomegranate, which is great for heart health, and, you know, yucca, which is a root plant that's great for decreasing inflammation, and the list can just go on. But it tastes great. It's safe for kiddos. My whole family drinks it like water, and it's, you know, with the 2 things combined, it's a powerhouse. And really, you know, like I said, I really am grateful, because going from a single, hopeless, you know, fragile mom at the time when Michaela introduced this, to, you know, I, you know, remarried in December. We have a Juice Plus baby. You know, my life is really turned around, and nothing but for the better. And it's allowed me to wake up with passion and purpose every day. And I'm just so grateful.
Oh, thank you for sharing your heart. I'm so glad you said yes. Like I said before, my name is Michaela Petersen, and I'm a pharmacist from Minden. My husband and I live on a farm in the middle of nowhere with our 4 kids, age 8, 6.5, 4.5, and 3. And I loved gardening. How many of you like gardening? Do anyone else? Can anyone else relate to me? But we live in the middle of nowhere, and so I would see the first 4.5-foot bull snake, and that's the last time I'd go in the garden that season. And Mark would every year skid load the garden up and be irritated with me that we have hundreds of tomatoes on the ground that I never went to pick. And so I first heard about Juice Plus 2 years ago. I was complaining to my uncle about weeding, and he said, well, you just need a tower garden. And I said, what's that? It's an aeroponic growing system where you can grow 28 different plants. You can grow it indoor or outdoors. You can do absolutely anything you want with these things. You cannot kill them. We do a tower tour at the nursing home to get my kids involved with the elderly. And 2 weeks ago, I filled all 20 gallons full blast with chemical water. And lo and behold, you just adjust the pH, and the thing, it stressed it evidently, but the thing just produced like crazy after that. We've got more kale on that tower garden than I've ever seen. So anyway, fast forward a couple weeks, and my good friend Diane Henry, who's also a pharmacist, posted a picture of hers on Facebook, and I contacted her instantly and said, I need one of these. I know how much they cost, everything about them. And she said, well, have you ever heard of Juice Plus? And I said, nope, we're healthy. We don't, we aren't going to do shakes. We're perfectly fine. And so thank God she asked me if she could tell me about it. And within one conversation, I went from never having heard of it to being a rep for the company, because to me, I'm kind of frugal, and $50 a year for no minimums, no quotas, and no inventories was totally a no-brainer, especially as a family of 6. I mean, Juice Plus is not expensive anyway. It's less than a cup of coffee a day, especially with the Children's Health Study, but I still wanted it for the best product, or the best price. And I, like Karisa, was not going to share it with a soul. Except Karisa, of course, I shared it with her right away because I knew she'd be my buddy. But anyway, I wasn't going to share it. And it really wasn't until within a month our family was experiencing miraculous things. My energy was through the roof. My husband was in a horrible cannon accident 3 years ago and was not having the inflammation in his leg and therefore the pain in his leg that he had previously had. Our 2-year-old that gagged at anything green, it was a fight to even get him to eat vegetables, within 2 weeks was asking for salads and eating seconds. We just went through the drive-through after gymnastics last week, and I ordered 4 side salads and a salad for myself, and that's what the kids crave, which is amazing. Our 2-year-old needed, or our 8-month-old needed tubes in her ears, and I canceled that tube consult, and as a family of 6, we've not had a single sick visit, nor, have the kids been on antibiotics or anything like that in 2 years. And probably most heartwarming to me is our 4-year-old. She's 6 at the time, and she had never let me read her a whole book. She was just a fart on a hot skillet, and bless her soul, I love her to death, but it was really frustrating to not be able to read her a book. And within 3 weeks, she was crawling up on my lap and asking me to read her book after book after book, and that was just the most heartwarming feeling. So at that point, I knew I had to dive into the research. When I found out that Juice Plus has 35 published clinical studies, and just a little background, a pharmaceutical drug, to get it approved to the market, you need 2 studies on the intended population that it's made for, and that only has to be 65% effective. So when I found out that fruits and vegetables have that many studies, it was like crazy to me. And so I read The Birth of Juice Plus, and the creator's dad was given 3 weeks to live, and he ended up living for 15 years. He was dying of lymphoma, supposedly. And so I messaged a mom of a kiddo with cancer, and her message back to me forever changed my course of life. She said, "How long have you known about this, and why didn't you tell me sooner?" And honestly, that's really why we're on a call like this, is because, whatever the outcome is not up to us, but we at least feel like we care enough about you to share the message. And so that's really why we are sharing our hearts with you tonight. And so a lot of people really kind of are curious about the company behind this amazing product. I know I was as well. And so, Michele, I know you and I had a barrier in sharing Juice Plus for a very similar reason. Can you shed some light on that?
Sure. And I was just thinking with, all 3 of us on the call pretty much said the same thing. We weren't going to share it with anybody.
Yeah.
And for me, one of the things that I wanted to address, because I know it was a serious issue for me. I told you that corporate background. And so we all have probably heard about that concept of pyramids and, right. Can you guys see my fingers? And that's the shape of a pyramid, right? And I don't know that any of us even really knew what pyramids were, other than we knew they weren't good. And really what I came to find out was that my corporate America world, there was this CEO up at the top. There was room really for one of them. And then down at the very bottom were the workers, and then in between all the managers and stuff, right? So that is a true pyramid. And the problem with that, it really is the same structure within churches, hospitals, you name it. That's a traditional corporate structure. And people aren't always very agreeable in helping each other because they don't want you to take their job. And how do I do the inverted pyramid? Basically the opposite, where we all start down at there we go. Down at the bottom, we all pay our $50 in this business, and there's room at the top for everybody. And, our whole business model is really just sharing with, usually around 25 customers. People are always shocked. Michele, you got to be a national marketing director. Just really on that premise of getting 25 customers. And yes, it's really true. I was able to replace my corporate income and stay home with my kids. And now I'm so excited about the future because I love working with all these younger families and allowing them the opportunity, if they want, to be able to help take some of that burden off or replace that income for them. Because I know that if I can help them raise their kids, those kids are going to win and our country is going to benefit from that. So we all pay that same amount. And then you've got so many people invested in wanting to help you because we're just well-paid teachers. And it's just our distribution model is such that Juice Plus looks like a vitamin, right? Because it's in that capsule or gummy, and in our head, it's just a man-made vitamin, but it's not. It's really fruits and vegetables. And it takes people like us with a heart, caring about other people, investing our time to educate because we care. That's not going to happen if it goes on the shelf at Target or Sam's or in the GNC, right? So that was something that I had to understand, that our company, 45-year-old company, couldn't be in business if they were operating an illegal pyramid, and that our company was so absolutely not like that. More of we're a virtual franchise is what we are.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That was a great explanation. Karisa, you and I also had a similar problem when we first started, and that was being drowned in motherhood. And while it's amazing and, glorious and all those things and incredibly challenging, we both had kind of lost ourselves in the midst of that, of all the diaper changes and nursing and, running around, being a taxi, all that stuff. So will you share a little bit about how we feel now and a little bit about the Juice Plus community?
Yes, I will. Oh my gosh, you guys, the Juice Plus community is amazing. Starting with, like we've said, locking arms with, in our situation, my best friend, and, just being on this incredible venture together. I mean, never in a million years would I've ever imagined that, ever. Watching our teams grow and watching so many lives being touched, working with like-minded, servant-hearted people like all of us on this line. I mean, I wouldn't, being able to get to know Debbie and, Brittany like I do, and Julia, and knowing Teresa and Aaron and Michele, I'd never know any of these amazing women if it wasn't for Michaela introducing it to me. And it's been huge. One thing too, a lot of times, pretty much every day, I ask myself, what if I hadn't said yes to Michaela sharing this with me? And this really tugs at my heart. It's actually making tears well up in my eyes, guys. So, I wouldn't be working, I wouldn't be doing life with this amazing community like all of you. I would have been, Karen, a shredder of mine, she would have been plateaued at her weight, after so many years. And she was able to lose 10 pounds and feels great and shreds she shreds with us every month, and she's so grateful, what if I hadn't have said yes, my kids would still be sick. They'd still be in the doctor's office probably every other month. They wouldn't be eating the bright green leafy vegetables or more of them. They'd still be eating a lot of their beige diet that they used to eat. And I never knew the value, what if I hadn't said yes? I mean, there's just countless things, a gal on our team, Maggie, her kiddos, her kiddos' eczema has been helped, and her kids are eating more green leafy vegetables. And it's just, it's just amazing. And I just thank God every day that I said yes. So the community and the company and everything about it is just spectacular. So.
Oh, that's so awesome. I agree with you. I think of that every day as well. And I wouldn't have been able to be with my grandma every step of the way through her cancer journey. I wouldn't be able to be here when my kids get off the bus every day. It's just incredible to think about that kind of stuff. So I am going to lay out just a little bit about what the $50 buys you. And the reason for doing this is my heart is totally genuine here, because when I got on a call much like this with Michele, she laid this out for me, even though I didn't think I needed it. And little did I know, 4 months after I was introduced to Juice Plus, our daycare situation would take a drastic turn, and my heartstrings would be tugged so much that I would never be able to put my kids in daycare again. And I made great money as a pharmacist. I'm still there every other Saturday, but I was working 3 days a week and making really good money. And so had I not heard this, I would have been way more scared and way less full of hope than I was knowing this. So just tuck this in the back of your mind for a rainy day should you ever need it. And we're just going to go over this a little bit. So everyone pays $50. And what happens is most people have 2 other people that they can think of sharing Juice Plus with. And so if you do that, plus your own order in your first 30 days, you make a $100 thank you bonus from the company. Plus you're going to get $39 in retail sales profit for those 2 people. So it's a couple $100 in your first 30 days. And most everyone takes advantage of that because we all have somebody that we know that needs more fruits and vegetables, especially with 75% of disease being preventable with what we eat. And so we know that Juice Plus just bridges the gap, right? I mean, people are supposed to eat 9 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. We actually eat more like 2. And so that bridges that gap. The complete also bridges the gap between how many meals we should eat a day. We should actually eat 6 a day. And we mostly eat 2. And so that bridges that gap. And then this business also bridges a financial gap. And that's what we're talking about right now. So the $100 bonus that I talked about, and then you also get a 6% raise. So you're making 6% on all of your orders and any other orders of anyone that you share with. And then within 60 days, you can go to the next step, which is called virtual franchisee. And it's pretty simple to get. You're just going to share with people just like you would a nice restaurant or a good movie or something like that. And so if you get to that level, then you get a $250 bonus and a 14% commission. So rather than making $39 a box like you came in, you're actually making $63 a box, which is a pretty substantial savings or earnings, however you want to look at it. And then the top commission level of our company is sales coordinator. And to get to sales coordinator, you just help 3 people do what you just did and get to VF. And so for doing that, you get a $500 bonus, but the company is running a fall incentive right now. So you actually make a $750 bonus rather than $500, which is incredible. And then for each one of those people that you helped get to VF, you usually would make a $250 bonus, but for the next 4 months, you're making a $300 bonus. So that's an incredible amount of earnings just in bonuses right there. And so even though I didn't want to share it with many, I got to VF pretty quickly, I think within 4 or 5 maybe weeks. And then I decided, well, heck, I'm not going to leave money on the table. I'm going to at least get to sales coordinator. But I didn't really have any hopes of going any further than that. And it wasn't until I got to sales coordinator and our daycare situation happened and I realized, oh my gosh, I could go further than this. And so in 17 months, I made it to the top level of our company of national marketing director. And I can tell you the benefits are absolutely amazing. And I'm so happy that not only have I helped 1,000 people with Juice Plus, but I now am earning a $60,000 benefits package, which includes medical, dental, vision. We just got our daughter glasses a few weeks ago, and I think we paid $36 for the exam plus glasses, and I've never had insurance like that before, and I always thought I had good insurance. Life insurance, disability, long-term care insurance, prescription drug, although we haven't needed that, family tuition reimbursement for college students. I tell you, as a mama of 4 kids, that is huge. I don't know any other company that has that program. An expense allowance, and then a holiday bonus of $1,000. So I am so incredibly grateful for that package. And so we're just going to kind of close by talking about the 6 principles that our Juice Plus culture stands for. And these are pretty simple, just like everything with Juice Plus is. Number 1 is longevity. The company's been around for 23 years, completely debt-free. The second is authenticity. We really are who we say we are. And just an example of that is we have NSF certification, which basically is a fancy term for saying 3 things. What's on the label is in the bottle. There's nothing in the bottle that's not on the label. And third and foremost, it does no harm. And so just totally authentic. Everything is just kind of out there in the open. The third Karisa mentioned is the community. We just came back from Juice Plus conference, Juice Plus Live in St. Louis. And it's just amazing that you can be in a facility with 8,000 people. They're beautiful, like everyone's glowing. If I would have known that you could get the glow of pregnancy without being pregnant, I may not have 4 kids. I'm teasing, of course. But anyway, it's just amazing. We've been at 4 conferences now, and there's not been a single incident of somebody being rude or anything like that. It's just amazing how everyone just builds you up. The number 4 is quality. Juice Plus is tested 6 times from farm to capsule. That's incredible. There's never been a recall. There's never been a lawsuit. I mean, it's just amazing. As a pharmacist, I really feel like I've been approached by almost every product. And my 3 questions were always, is it safe in pregnancy? Has it been studied in cancer patients? And would you give it to your kids? And I always kind of snickered to myself that nobody said yes to all 3 of those. And so every product that they approached me with, I said, oh, I wouldn't take it then if you wouldn't give it to those 3 populations. And Juice Plus is studied in those 3 populations. MD Anderson did a cancer study on it. Our children's health study that Karisa mentioned is 1 million kids strong. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. The 5th point is simplicity. Like we said, we only have 4 products. Michele mentioned that it's a nutrition label, not a supplement label. So it's just food. It's not even taxed in states that don't tax for food. And then, you can't get more simple than fruits and vegetables. That's all that's on the label. And so we have the simplest ingredients that God intended for us to eat. And then the 6th point and the 6th thing that we stand for is being approachable. We truly are one team, one mission, and we cannot wait to partner with you guys in taking health back. So thank you so much for joining us, and I'm going to stop the recording, so if you have any questions, we can